All right. Hey, how's it going? My name is Snoot, and I'm one of the community managers here at Coffee Stain Studios. And it's been a little bit over a week now since we released Update 4 on our experimental branch of Satisfactory. And we are super happy with how it's been going so far. We're super proud of the update. It's been one of the most stable releases, believe it or not, that we've ever done. And I just wanted to make this video real quick to just give you a little bit of an update. What's going on with the update? When can you expect it on the early access version of the game? And just talk to you a little bit. We haven't talked in a while, guys. So this is the moment. So yeah, we're super happy with Update 4. Of course, there are a few bugs and some issues and maybe some balancing things that you guys may have some feedback on. And if you do, make sure to hit up our QA site, questions.satisfactorygame.com, and give us your feedback and report your issues, make tickets, upvote, all that jazz. If you don't know how to access the game on Experimental, if you're on Steam, right-click the game and hit Properties. Then you go into the Betas tab, and then you pick the drop-down list. You pick like Experimental, it's one of the options there. And on the Epic version of the game, there should be like a Satisfactory Experimental version in your library somewhere around there. We had an issue where the icon on the Epic Games version didn't update, but the update was out. And when can we expect it on the early access version, you might ask? And the answer to that is April 13th, this year, okay? Look at all the comedians out there. Oh, does it mean 2022? I think you're so fucking funny, don't you? With that said though, I just want to point out that Update 4 is out on Experimental, but we're still making some tweaks to it, and there's still some minor changes that might come to it. I just wanted to kind of talk a little about some of those things. So let me first kind of address one of the things with plutonium fuel rods. When we released the game, a lot of people thought that it was a bug that you could sink the plutonium fuel rods, including this guy. But that is actually intentional, apparently. So up until Update 4, you weren't able to sink your nuclear waste, and you still can. But there's a way to like get around that kind of, where if you take your nuclear waste and use it in the new nuclear refinement process and create plutonium fuel rods, those are then possible to sink in the awesome sink if you didn't know. And that is intentional, because we want to kind of create a trade-off between whether or not it's worth using the new fuel rods in your nuclear power plants, or if you think that waste is such a cumbersome thing that you'd rather get the waste out of your way and refine all that shit. And that's kind of the trade-off that we want to go with, if it's worth or not, you know, getting the new power versus sinking it. I don't know if we're gonna like nuff. I don't know if we're gonna nerf or buff the like the regular fuel rods or the plutonium fuel rods, or how they're gonna burn or whatever. One of the options we're looking at currently is making maybe uranium a bit, maybe potentially a bit weaker, and then make plutonium a bit stronger to kind of balance that out a little bit. We'll see. Another thing that we're looking into is to make bauxite a little bit more expensive again. We felt like the change we did made it a little bit maybe too cheap. We still want it to be easy to refine, so we're not gonna like make a huge change or go back to how it was before. But there's gonna be a little bit tweaks to that, especially for the alternate versions of those recipes, because we feel like those recipes are a little bit too cheap right now. And what does that mean, changing bauxite? Well, it's mostly some tweaks to the numbers to the recipes. No changes to like the ingredients or anything like that. Nothing major, but the tweaks don't just apply to bauxite. There may be some tweaks overall to some of the new recipes as well. We haven't really decided on anything yet, but expect maybe some numbers to change here and there. No ingredients will change in the recipes, but maybe some numbers. There's also going to be some general tweaks to some of the alternate recipes that are new to Update 4. But again, it's mostly related to like ratios and, you know, how many per minute you may need to feed to get full efficiency. So don't worry about ingredients or anything like that. If you are one of those people that are like, oh, I don't want to start setting up a production line if I have to like make any change to whatsoever, then stay away from the alternate recipes, because those are the ones that are most prone for change. If you have any thoughts on the balancing of things, or if you feel like there are any specific recipes that you want to see in the game, make sure to upvote that on the QA site, or even make tickets for it. The QA site isn't just for, you know, bug issues and whatnot. That's also for your feedback. So if you feel like some alternate recipe is too strong or too weak, or if you want to change something with some other recipe, don't be discouraged to post that kind of stuff as well on the QA side. So something else I also want to address is a bug that a lot of people actually got upset that we fixed. And that was one of the bugs there were some foundations with like a downward slope where it didn't have like any collision at all. Or some collision, I'm not quite sure exactly what the state of that was, but it was a bug nonetheless where some of the foundations didn't clip. And that bug was kind of like fixed unintentionally because we didn't necessarily sought out to fix that bug, but it kind of did. Now I just want to talk a little about this, okay? Because we kind of want collision on foundations, but we do understand how that was such an ATU building, and we really don't want to take that away from you. So what we're gonna do for now is we're gonna reintroduce that bug with the foundation stuff, and in the future for some coming update, maybe the next one or the one after that, we're gonna look into ways to make it possible for you to build the same way without utilizing something unintentional with the game, with like a bug like that. We want you to be able to pursue those kind of creative builds and be able to do the things that you can with the limitations of the game. But we also want collision to foundations. But we're gonna work something out. But in the meantime, we're gonna reintroduce that bug. Yay! So yeah, I just wanted to really quickly bring these things up. Let you know guys what's happening. We're still working on update 4. Update 4 is come out on early access on April 13th. Super glad that you guys like it. Remember to post on our QA site, questions.satisfactorygame.com, if you have any feedback or if you encounter any bugs or any issues. Let us know and we will look into it. And until then, have an amazing day or week or year or month or however long it takes until you see me again. So take care. Bye-bye. And, but